The next small saga of Kamari and my first getting together is is before we got married. We had asked her, and I had been being taught by the missionaries, and she had promised her sister Diana that she would go with her to BYU for summer school. And so I'd asked her in March to marry me, and in May they left to go to BYU for the summer. And we had picked out on the ranch, Cedar Bluff Ranch, in close to Ripley, Oklahoma. The family had owned it. Mr. Berry had owned it. It had an old beat up house in it. They call it a shotgun house. One of the reasons you can call it a shotgun house, you can open the front door and the back door and shoot a shotgun through it and not hit anything. And so off to one side of that, it had a bedroom, but the bathroom was basically on the back porch of the house. And I knew that Kamari was really upset because the bathroom just had a screen door on it. It didn't have a door that you could close. And it was so small, I want to describe this to you. You opened the screen door and you had to step over the stool. Between the door frame and the stool was only 6 inches. And if you were little, you could slide between it. But you stepped over the stool into a spot so that the stool is on your right hand side. You've just stepped over it. The sink is straight in front of you. The bathtub is to your left, and the hot water heater is to your back. Where you're standing, there's about 20 inches square that you can stand in this bathroom. And I found out later Kamari had nightmares about that bathroom. So that summer, I was taking lessons from the elders, and I joined the church on July 1st, 1964. And they baptized me in a farm pond because they were having a water shortage and they didn't want to fill the font at the church house. Uh, so I had joined the church, and I went down to get this house ready for us to live in. Well, I took the water heater and I took it out of there and put it across the aisle on the back porch and put it on the other side of this little bigger area so we'd have more room. I walled up where the screen door was and I put a door in through where the hot water tank had set. And so that I had it fixed so that she could have privacy. Kamari was a very uh, private person. You know, each of us have a zone around us that is a private zone. We have an intimate zone, a private zone, a public zone, and then out. And and she didn't let anyone into her intimate zone, including me, for quite a long time. It was very difficult for her to accept someone encroaching in that space around her. It's a physical space. If you want to do a fun experiment, get two people that don't know each other, have them walk to the center of the room and hug each other and watch their reaction. You'll see where those zones are as they start making that move toward each other. Most people's intimate zone is is 2 feet roughly around. Uh, a private zone then is add another foot and a half to that, and then outside of that is public zone where you don't feel the pressure. Have you ever walked in an elevator and somebody continued to talk in the elevator with it full? It all gets quiet, and that's because you're all invading each other's intimate and private zones. President Kimball was one of the prophets and president of the Church of Jesus Christ of Latter-day Saints. He had a method to get around that. And every picture you see of him greeting someone, his hand is extended to its full length. And when someone would get a hold of his hand, then he would pull them into his private zone and put his arm either on their arm or on their shoulder. Uh, People don't mind you pulling them into their private zone. What they worry about is you coming in unannounced, if you will, or uninvited. So we had that to work our way through and do some things. But uh, then Joe Lewis and I were looking for summer jobs, and so we drove from Oklahoma. We went up through Wyoming and all of the states in between. And we were looking for construction jobs. And we came back through Utah, and it was raining the whole time. And raining not just a little bit, it was raining enough that construction jobs were just stopped. And so we went back home, and you've heard some of the stories that I've told about hauling hay. Joe and I went home and hauled hay that summer. And that's the way we earned our money. And so that we were private entrepreneurs in hauling hay for farmers and ranchers. I've never had but one job in my life that was a salaried job, and that was working for Ricks College long after Camille and I had been married for quite a while. But when she came back from being at summer school, and she didn't get back until the 1st of August, and spent May, June, and July in Utah. And anyway, when she got back there, then we got married on the 23rd of August. And so know that's been a wonderful story for us, how we met. And one of these days, when you get on the other side of the veil, you can get Camille's full version of that. I'm sure it's slightly different than mine. Have a wonderful day.